Please help me in welcoming all of our new studios. By joining us at Microsoft Studios, these 5 new teams will have the resources, the platform, and creative independence to take bigger risks, create even bolder worlds for you.
At E3 2018, Microsoft confirmed the acquisition of 4 new studios. That was great news for the fans of Xbox. But they were not done there. They actually confirmed the creation of one brand new mega studio, The Initiative, led by David Gallagher. He was in charge of the Tomb Raider reboots that happened in 2013, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I don't know if he had any kind of insight whatsoever into the Tomb Raider that's coming out this year. Now, with all this information on these studios being bought, I felt like since they're not done, this is a good time to go over the top 5 studios that Microsoft could purchase to help their brand from here going on out. I did make this video with a collaboration with Kid Smooth. He's a member of Weapon Wheel Podcast. I will put his channel in the description. So let's go ahead and start this video.
One of the studios I think Microsoft should seriously consider acquiring, that is independent studio Moon Studios. Now, Moon Studios are responsible for a little hit called Ori and the Blind Forest. This game did well with reviewers, scoring in the high 80s. It sold pretty well and did well enough to put out a definitive edition the year after. Now, Moon Studios is back. They appeared on Microsoft stage 2 years in a row, showing off the sequel, Ori and the Will-O-Wisp. And this game is due out sometime in 2019. Now, judging by how everyone received the last game, this game looks much better. The music is still there and the story looks to be intriguing, and I think Microsoft should talk about at least acquiring this team before or at least shortly after they release, because being an independent studio, Microsoft may own the Ori IP, but this is a talented team and you don't want to let that talent walk. And I think Ori fills a void in Microsoft's library that they don't have. That adventure, platforming, puzzler, small title but highly rated, and this is also was one of the best rated Xbox exclusives in the whole catalog. You know, when you look at some of the releases over the last 5 years, Ori and the Blind Forest rates really high. So these guys know what they're doing, and I think Microsoft should not let this talent walk and pretty much keep them for the long haul and see what else they can do or how far Ori can go as a property.
So any Xbox fan knows right now, the biggest genre that Microsoft doesn't really have, that's the JRPGs. They don't really have any Japanese orientated studios. They don't even have a studio in Japan. So my next studio is going to be Mistwalker. Mistwalker makes, critically acclaimed games like Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, The Last Story. Now, although these games didn't do great commercially, they did really good when it comes to Metacritic score. I think Lost Odyssey got like a 7.8, and I think The Last Story got like an 8 or an 8.1. But these games were critically acclaimed. They did decent commercial-wise. I think that right now, the biggest portion that Microsoft needs, they need more of a Japanese-orientated studio. They need more at home in Japanese to get that market up a little bit, because they don't really do the greatest in Japan. So if they have a studio in Japan, I feel like that might appeal to that market a little bit more, so they can start selling a little bit more units in Japan, because they really need that market. So maybe make a Lost Odyssey 2, a Blue Dragon 2, or new IP entirely, and I think that would be a great fit for the Xbox brand from here going forward.
Another perfect addition to Microsoft first party team has to be 4A Games. Man, these guys are responsible for the Metro series, highly successful, highly rated first person shooter. The actual first Metro game landed only on the Xbox 360 and PC. So there is a relationship there, and they've showed all their Metro games been showcased on the Xbox console, with the latest Metro Exodus being showing off the Project Scorpio, aka the Xbox One X, which is due out next year, and Microsoft has the marketing rights for that. I think this game is going to do pretty well. Their last 2 games did very well as well, and I think Microsoft knows there's talent behind this studio. Now, the unfortunate part is that THQ Deep Silver owns the publishing rights for the Metro series. So if Microsoft are to acquire this team, they will be working on something completely new, and I honestly do not mind. This is a quality studio, and with the backing of Microsoft and the budget that Microsoft can give this studio, they can make something incredible, and this would be an acquisition I don't think Microsoft should pass up on.
One of the studios I feel like Microsoft should be looking at is Bluepoint. For those of you that don't know, Bluepoint makes the games like Shadow of the Colossus. They made the Uncharted collection, and their work is really good. They actually are one of the few studios that can make a remaster, a remake, and make it look like it's something that was naturally built for that system. And that's the aspect I want Microsoft to buy them for. I want them to be making their older games. I want them to be making their Banjo-Kazooies, their Mech Assaults, anything else that Microsoft would want them to make from their older libraries. Pretty much anything that Rare made. So that's one of the issues that I want them to remedy, is this older library that everyone wants. Get you a studio that specializes in making that particular type of game. Then after a few of these titles, and they've knocked them out of the park, and they've proven that they're a good studio, that a good investment that Microsoft made, go ahead and give them the funding, let them make their own original IP, let them go wild, make them what they want to. Award them for good work. And from a competition standpoint, you actually took a couple exclusives that could potentially come on PlayStation. So, it's a win-win for Microsoft. They get a bunch of, good quality exclusives that came from their backline that cost them pretty much nothing, because a lot of these games aren't going to cost a lot. You put them up on the store for like $40, you get your money back, you appreciate your fan support, you gave them what they wanted, and you move on.
Welcome to Strange Brigade, a rip-roaring action-adventure video game to be enjoyed solo or with friends in what the boffins call online co-op for 2 to 4 players.
Another studio Microsoft should seriously consider, that would have to be Rebellion Development. These guys have a whole lot of games up their arsenal, very diverse, and they will definitely fill that AA void. Matt Booty says Microsoft needs more AA games. Well, Rebellion is the studio to do it. These guys are responsible for the games Zombie Army Trilogy, the Sniper Elite series, and the upcoming Strange Brigade, which is due at the end of August. Now, that game looks very interesting and is getting a lot of high praises, arguably one of the best small hit shooters. I mean, this is a game, this could be example for Microsoft. This could be the game that says, hey, we want to work with these guys. Rebellion isn't owned by anyone. They worked with maybe many publishers in the past. I don't think they've done any exclusives before, but I feel like this is a talent Microsoft should seriously consider, because they have the talent. They have a big team, multiple studios, and they have the ability to pump out games on annual basis if needed. And that would be good for programs such as Game Pass.
You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
I'm going to go ahead and do a 6th studio for shits and giggles. This studio, the reason I'm doing it is because it's already rumored that Microsoft's going to buy it. And that's Obsidian Entertainment, or Obsidian Games, or however the hell they end their studio with. This is the company that makes Fallout New Vegas. They made Knights of the Old Republic 2. if they got their hands on this studio, this particular studio, I mean, think about the difference between Fallout New Vegas and Star Wars of the Old Republic 2. They're completely two different games, but they're both RPGs. So that shows the diversity when it comes to this studio and making RPGs. I feel like this is a good move if they go this way. By purchasing Obsidian, they would give that diversity when it comes to, they can have a Dragon Age game one year, and then, after they made that game, the next game they can make a first-person shooter open world RPG because they bought a studio that has a lot of diverse lineups. Now, I do feel like that the first-person shooter aspect will, gravitate, and it will really adapt more to the Xbox community, because it's not a secret that the Xbox community, and for the Xbox whole ecosystem, a lot of them do play a lot of, shooters in general. So I do feel like that is a good purchase for them, and I feel like between them, Playground, making RPGs, they will have a good, solid foundation for RPGs and single-player, narrative-driven games here going out. And there you go. There's the 5 studios I believe Microsoft should purchase. Well, 6 technically. 3 from Kid Smooth and 3 from myself. I'll put a link in the description for Kid Smooth's channel. Great content creator. I'm sure the majority of you that are watching already know who he is. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it to as many of your friends that like my content. Get to as many people as possible. And until the next time, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out of here. Peace.